Good afternoon, everyone. I think we'll get started. Thank you again for coming out to our Tuesday luncheons, and of course we always want to welcome our viewers on the internet. Some watch our stream live, some watch it, Brad puts it up on YouTube, and it's a great way to communicate with people outside of Rapid, and we've had a good response, and we thank those people who watch us on the internet. We're going to get started here. A man who's really on the practice floor right now. Thanks for coming in. The women are practicing right now before we head to Chadron for a doubleheader tonight. Starts at 5:30. Ryan, thanks for coming in. I know you're in practice. Ryan Larseon.
Thanks for letting me rush up here. It's really tough to break away from practice right now. I got my starting reporter shatter in my pocket, ready to roll, but Coach Paula can handle them for about 10 minutes. I'd like to thank Brad Bloom for putting this on the internet for everybody. My mother-in-law watches it every week and thinks it's the greatest thing ever, Brad, so kudos to you, man. Good job. That's a shout-out. She's actually coming Friday, so I'm just getting in good before she shows up. Yeah, big game tonight. Chadron State. The difference between us and Chadron is 0.9 of a point. And I just told the girls, well, what play is going to make that 0.9 of a point tonight? Who's going to make that play? Who's going to make the big stop? Who's going to make 2 free throws? Who's going to make a bucket? And that's kind of where we're at right now. We're relying so much on our defense that it's obviously been a bit of a struggle for us right now these past 2 weekends. Because our scoring, it's just obviously just not where we need to be right now. Kind of the fact of the matter is we really return, I believe it's 32% of our scoring from last year's team. So we're really looking for kids to step up and make baskets and make some plays. At the same time, we're still learning our offense, times to score, when's a good time to take a jumper, when's a good time to go to the rim, stuff like that. So we're still learning there, but who's going to make up the rest of those points? And tonight's going to be a really good challenge for us in those regards. I'll go back to last weekend a little bit. Northern State, really established Division II program, play a little bit of a slower tempo. Coach Fredrickson is known as kind of the mastermind of set plays. He has about 400 and some set plays in his playbook, and he will just kind of pick apart the weak defender. And he's been doing this a long time, and he obviously found a few weaknesses within our defense. That and one of our biggest Achilles heels on the year so far, offensive rebounding. We give up way too many offensive rebounds, and we gave them 17 second chance points. And when you do that, that's hard to make up. And you put on top of that, putting yourself in a 14-0 hole, like we started Friday's game, that's tough to make up there. But we're correcting those errors. We really are. Every game out we play, and every practice I can see our kids, tuning into, those just focal points that we've been working on. Rebounding being one, turning it over being the other one. Those turnovers are going down. We faced a really good team Friday. Northern, really established Division II program. Then we turned around and played a really good Wayne State program, who wins a lot of games every year. And what made it really difficult was just the 2 differences in squads. I said Northern's they play a little slower in set plays every time. Wayne, they play if you guys were there, you could see how they really run. They had some really good athletes out there. Jordan Spencer, for one, she scored about 6 or 8 points a game just outrunning the defense. First half, we did a pretty darn good job of stopping that, but we gave up some threes. That was the other thing that we needed to, really focus on. We did a good job stopping Jordan Spencer, but we lost their shooters in transition, and they had, I believe, 12 points in transition threes, and that hurts when you give up those dagger threes. But, the bright spot of Wayne State, we totally shut down their half-court motion offense, and we frustrated them. And the second half, their coach, who was a pretty good friend of mine, he told me we just had to run sets over and over and over again. And they didn't have to run these sets in their first 2 games of the year because they were scoring all their motion. We didn't know those sets were coming. We weren't prepared for them. We didn't see them on film, and they just picked us apart with those sets. And a lot of that had to do with us, just defensive principles, not jumping to the ball, not communicating some switches, and they shot the ball really, really well. But they were open, and that was our fault. But against their half-court motion, we did a darn good job, and I was really, really proud of that. We had a good first half of that Wayne game, but the second half, I said earlier, we're just relying so much on our defense right now. We'll get some stops and we'll come down and we won't make a basket. We'll get another stop, we come down, we won't make a basket. And again, and again, and again. It gets just so deflating for a team when you can't, convert from a defensive stop and you're just relying on your defense so much that, it's hard. It's difficult. But it's coming. The progress is coming offensively. I feel good about our kids. Coach Paula got them into guards to watch some film individually of what they need to do better, find their shots and whatnot, and hopefully a light bulb comes on a little bit with those little film sessions from yesterday. Really excited about tonight's game. Kids are fired up. After going 0-2 in the weekend at home, there's probably nothing better you can do than get back out in the court and compete again. So I'm excited. Obviously, the kids are excited. It's going to be a good matchup for us. Going down to Shattern, always a tough task. Really tough task. Officiating is going to be suspect at best, maybe. Maybe take that off the air, Brad. But that's part of the game. You got to just overcome it. You fight through adversity and just overcome it. Keep battling. But I'm excited. I feel really, really good about today's game. And we got 2 more at home. Hopefully we have a really nice outcome tonight, and that's going to build some nice momentum for this weekend's game. We got another very winnable game against Southwest Minnesota State here Friday, and then we got a really good team at the University of Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls plays at Black Hills Friday night, and they're on the road and we're at home, and you always know that second game of a road trip, anything can happen. But we don't like to look ahead, but we are kind of dangling that carrot in front of the kids right now. Hey, we can really have some nice momentum coming into the weekend. If we get this one tonight, we'll tee it up and really play hard this weekend. Excited to be at home. Any questions from this past weekend before I hustle out and go prepare for Shattern a little bit more? Yes, Larry.
The officials just called.
Okay, yeah.
And they're listening to your broadcast.
Okay.
And they're wanting to explain your comment.
Wow, I got a whole video of things they can explain to me. I know those guys too. That was one of the many things exciting about coming back home. I know these officials out here, before the game, Ryan, man, good to see you again, congratulations, yeah. Well, you just do me a favor then a couple times. Shoot, there are no favors anywhere. They're protecting themselves all the time. Just because you might know them, they go the other way. Well, we can't give him a favor tonight because, stuff like that. But Larry, go ahead and give my number. I'm not afraid. Mackenzie, I believe she's in surgery right now, getting that nose fixed. She got it broke really, really good. I watched that over and over and over on the film again, and man, she got that elbow square to the nose, and Dr. Gunn and I kind of relived a little bit, and her nose was pointed sideways. It got it straightened a little bit, but she'll be out tonight. She's questionable for this weekend. It was sad because Mackenzie, she kind of got on a roll there for us. She's one of those kind of European player that just finds herself in open spots and knows where to find the ball. And playing her against that zone was good for us, and she was getting some open space for us, and that was too bad. She was putting up some points for us. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I love talking to you. So I'm glad I took some time out of practice, but I know Coach Paul is doing a good job. Thank you. See you this weekend.
I want to thank Urgent Care. They're one of our new sponsors this year with the Hardrockers, and they're doing a lot to support our scholarship program and the athletic program. So we want to welcome Regional Urgent Care. You know, there were two very good men's basketball games, and I'll tell you, the game on Saturday, Tom Mann and I were talking on radio, that was one of the best college men's basketball games I've probably ever watched in this gym. Two good teams really going at it. It was an exciting game. It was just hard fought, hard effort by both teams, and I think Jason can be very proud of his team this last couple of wins. Jason Henry.
Yeah, we are. We're very proud of the guys, and especially after the start that we had, at Minot and Mary, and the good competition. You're on the road, like Ryan said, is you never know what happens on the road that second night. But anytime you're on the road, if you can get a split, that's what we're kind of shooting for, and come away with 2 losses. Weren't overly excited about that, but we knew we had to keep improving, and I thought we did last week, especially after the Billings game. I still didn't think we played very well against Billings, and Billings traditionally, they won a GNAC a couple years ago, and they've had a very good team the last few years, and guys that can knock down shots, and we got done playing, we got a win, and I was kind of, I wouldn't say disappointed, but I knew we had a long ways to go. And to come back on that Friday, and we didn't talk hardly anything about Sioux Falls, just about 5 minutes, worked mostly on us, and the guys really took to that and got some things fixed and came out and played how we're capable of playing against Sioux Falls. We had guys, top to bottom come out and do something, and I was really happy for them and proud of our guys to do that, but it kind of puts in perspective of what's going on in these next few games. We had 9 games in 16 days, and that's probably why I couldn't sleep Thursday night after a win. Usually you go home and you sleep pretty good, but I was nervous heading into the stretch where we have so many good teams. I know a lot of them are at home. Of course, we start tonight at Shadron. But the competition that we have, and you lose a few games, and just confidence-wise, and I just know how it works as an athlete, and you question some things, and you want to kind of press a little bit, and push the issue a little bit, and all that kind of stuff that goes with athletics. And for us to come away with a couple victories was huge going into the 7 games in 13 days, because it's going to be a ride that nobody else in the country is even close to having. I've talked to a couple teams that are coming up here next weekend. They were just not even laughing. They basically feel bad for us, and I'm like, well, the heck with that. We did some of it last year. We had 3 games in a row, a couple different times, and a bunch of games in a bunch of different days, and to play as many games as we had in November, we need to use that to our advantage as well, because now we're playing a Mines team that only has 2 games in when we play them next Saturday, and we have a ton of games prior to that. So we have to use that to our advantage, plus we're pretty deep. That's one of the things we'll talk a little bit about today is the guys coming off the bench and playing 11, 12 guys right now, and that's something typically you don't do, but because of injuries that you never know when that's going to happen, and just it's kind of our philosophy is playing our 10 guys and next guy up if something does happen, whether it's fall trouble, whether it's injuries, whatever the case is. We always feel like the next guy is going to come in and do his job. So that's kind of where we're at. We brought in a couple guys that will talk to you a little bit today. A couple other things that I was on the Sports Buzz getting interviewed, and you go 0-2 on the road, and geez, why are you so excited? Went to your luncheon, or I saw your luncheon online, and they're kind of asking me of, how are you so excited that you're 0-2 and sitting at the luncheon? And I was so excited about the football game. Jeepers, beat Kearney, go 6-4 in the year. That's what I told him. I said, how can you not be excited about that stuff? But we are. We're excited about our team, and we showed each other and showed everybody what we're capable of doing. We got a good mix of young guys, a good mix of juniors and seniors, and we had to. We know with our competition this year and going forward is we had to have the kind of guys in our program right now that we do. Just to make sure that we are competitive. You know, I don't know if we're going to win a ton of games. I don't know if we're going to lose a ton of games, but I know we're going to be there every game and have a chance to win. And that's what happened Thursday night. Last 5 minutes, I think we're down 4 points with about 6 minutes to go. And, you know, sub in basically our starting lineup, and they came in, which is basically our old guys, and did the job. You know, Mike Dietz, I think, scored a few points in a row. Lance got a slip. Just did the things on the offensive, defensive end to find a way to win. And then like Tom alluded to the next night, it was, in my mind too, one of the best college games I've been a part of. Just watching the guys compete and doing, you know, a lot of good things and recovering if it's something bad happens, whatever, and just kind of going forward. Now going back and looking at the film and all those kind of things too is we got a ways to go, and that's what makes me even more excited. You can compete at that level and win a game against a team like that and still have a lot of improvement that you can definitely do. And I know a lot of it is just fixable things. I mean, we've just shot the ball basically terrible this year. I think we're just over 20% right now from the three-point line, and I think we have one of the best shooting teams that we've ever had here. So it tells you how smart I am, I guess, but it is a kind of a combination of we got to go inside to our guys. You know, we're doing some great things with our post guys and getting them touches, and you know, we're going to open up some things on the outside and knock down some shots, but that's coming. I mean, you know, from Trevor that's here today to a Jordan Dick to a Philip Shanelak, those guys can score and they can shoot the ball, and that's the part that really gets me excited about you know, moving forward and the games coming up. We got a good base going, so to speak. Got a long ways to go, but we got the guys capable of doing it. Looking forward, just real quick. Saturday tonight is a little bit different team. They play a dribble drive offense. We kind of change up our defense when we play dribble drive teams a little bit. And do a couple different things, but bottom line is they're a little bit better than they were the last couple of years. They got some good shooters, got a decent post guy, a couple decent post guys actually, but and they're 2-0 right now, you know, so got some confidence going. So we're gonna have our hands full. I don't ever remember. I mean, I know I haven't, since I've been here, we haven't beat them down there. But even a few years prior to that, it seems like that's one of those teams where you can go to Shattern and get beat by 10 or 20 points, and literally, and it would happen, a week later, 2 weeks later, they'd come up here and you could win by 10 or 20. They're just that much better at home, and, you know, the crowd, it's a smaller gym, so we're going to have our hands full, but coming off of, you know, a USF game, I know our guys are ready for that. Kearney the next weekend, they're a little bit younger, next Friday. They're a little bit younger this year. Got some guys actually we play them in the second half of the year. One guy's not eligible. That will be back the second time we play him, and then another guy that's hurt right now, and he may or may not play in this game. So, you know, hopefully we can get him at home and then have an opportunity to play him on the road. They'll probably be full strength at that time, but you know, it's a chance to get back at home. We've won our 12 games in a row now here, and we want to protect that as well. And then the next night, we'll play one of the best teams in the country. Everybody that's played them this year, I think they have 3 preseason all-conference guys, which just never happens. And they are. They're going to be very good. They got a 6'11", 260-pound post. Got guys on the outside that can score. They're averaging 100 points a game right now. All those kind of things that go with it. And it's one of our teams that we recruit against the most with Colorado School of Mines. You know, we're recruiting kind of the same guys, and it is a chance to get them finally, after playing them down there a number of times, they're finally coming back up here, and of course they have one of the best teams. They went 29-3 or 4 2 years ago, and we had them on the ropes down there. In fact, we should have beat them. We're up 4 or 5 with a couple minutes to go, and some kid, ball's rolling on the ground and get kicked out to him, and he hits the 7-3 of the game, and he was a freshman at the time. So now he's a junior, plus all those guys are seniors that were on that team. A couple of them were hurt last year. You know, just... they're loaded. There's no doubt about it. So I'm very excited about that game. We don't want to look forward either. We got 2 big games coming up prior to that, but we're going to have our hands full on that one too. All right. So I'll get to these guys. Any questions first, though, before I bring up Lance? And yes.
I thought I saw Thursday night, 3 or 4 times you ran a pattern play and got the ball into the ball and you scored. I never saw it again after that.
Well, it's terrible coaching is what it is. So, in my mind, you know, and we tell our guys that too. I mean, you got to be crazy to not think that we have two of the better posts in the country, especially when you're playing against teams that that aren't, post heavy like we are. When we run into it, and we saw that in Sioux Falls a little bit more. They had some posts that got in trouble. Kabinski got in trouble. He got foul trouble. Only played like 3 minutes in the first half, but they got some size to match up with us. It's not going to be that easy, but when it is that easy, we have to take advantage of that. We've had, in our program, we've had probably the best posts, player of the year, senior player of the year, just with what we run, just offensively without running sets. We try to start inside out. We tell our guys, get the ball in the lane, whether it's off the dribble, whether it's off a curl, a pass, or of course a post touch, which, we definitely want. But then after that, it's guys got knockdown shots. I mean, we've had, our top players have been our post guys, but our 1,000-point scorers have all been guards. So there's a great combination right there that, once we figure that out, and I thought we did a much better job that second night playing against probably even better posts against Sioux Falls, and they had their way too, but a lot of that had to do with get to that, what we call it, third or fourth side, guys give them the touches in the block when they need it. But yeah, I mean, we actually had run a couple different sets for them a few different times, and they take advantage of it. So we do. We have to keep getting touches in there, whether it's running sets or just in our regular offense. So we'll keep going to them. Believe me, you come into practice and tell them the same thing that we tell them every day too, is get some touches in there. And then what happens too is then you get triple teamed, double teamed, and I mean, I can stand out there and hit a spot up shot right now. So our guys don't have to be in a hurry when they're shooting the shots when they're getting double teamed. Anything else? What's that?
Don't exaggerate.
All right. I can shoot 20% spot-up shots right now, and that's about where we're at, so I could jump out there right now and do that. But anything else? Okay, we'll get going with Lance Kilburn's the first guy that we have here, and Trevor Zocker will go after him. Kind of Lance will show him the way, as we're trying to do right now with having a senior in the program. As far as what he's doing next year, a little bit different than for Trevor, because he's obviously got plenty of years of school left. So Lance will be out after being in our program for 5 years. Obviously been a big part of our program. He's one of the guys that we did redshirt last year, coming off of a great junior season. He did a lot of good things, especially on the offensive end. One thing with Lance, when he came here, though, he played zone 32 minutes a game, basically every game during high school. So it was a big transition for him on the defensive end, and being, Coach Glenn and myself are being big defensive-minded coaches. That's one of the things that he struggled with, but he's always been a good scorer, a big-time scorer, and he can score a number of different ways. When you watch Lance play, though, things that I think of, things that everybody talks about, is he looks like he's 30 years old and playing in summer ball or Y ball or whatever, noon ball. And that's actually a good thing. I always tell people, if you figure out those guys that graduate when they're 21, 22 years old, they figure out actually how to play basketball between 22 and 27 or 28 years old, and then from 28 to about 32, they're really, really, really good players. Then after that, they get old like the rest of us, and then it's hard. But that's one thing with Lance, is he plays old man basketball like everybody says, but he does that to his advantage, and when you watch him play, he's just smart out there, takes what the defense gives him, and uses physical body, and is very good in our program, like I said, especially on the offensive end. So we're expecting big things to be a leader for us this year with being a senior on the team, and he can tell you all about his plans and kind of go from there. And we'll bring Trevor up after that.
Yeah, well, I'm Lance Kilburn. I'm from Lawrence, Kansas. The home of Kansas Jayhawks, if you guys were wondering. They're probably the second best team in the country right now behind South Dakota School of Mines Hardrockers, but I'm graduating in May. I'm looking to hopefully get a job back in the Kansas City area. I'm really excited about this season. I know that we have a great core group of guys. We all hang out together. We all get along great. Our entire team is basically a family, so we have each other's back on the court and off the court. I think that's probably the most important thing, and why I'm so excited about this season is because we can do great things. We got people like Trevor coming off the bench, and you never know what he's going to do. I mean, he's still learning a lot of things, but he's probably got way more skills than I have, and I've been here for 5 years. So I'm excited about that. I guess looking ahead, we need to keep our winning streak at home alive. our road games have been kind of tough, but if we can keep it alive at home, I think we're in good shape. We'll pick up a few on the road probably tonight. Looking forward. I guess, what do you guys have questions for me?
What's your major?
I'm electrical engineering. I'm hoping so. Coach always bothers me. He's like, well, when you graduate, you're donating this, right? I'm just like, we'll see about that, Coach. But no, I will for sure. The school's always treated me great, so I'd love to give back to it.
Let's talk about how is the adjustment for players with the officiating now being much more careful? I mean, you can't touch anybody anymore. It's almost, has that been a hard adjustment for players to get used to?
I'd say it's definitely been a hard adjustment. I mean, it's been our philosophy from day one. Coach Glenn always teaches about giving ground. Like when they jab at you, just give them space, make them come to you. But it's just been difficult because, I mean, I've been playing 15 years and I've always been taught to keep an arm bar up just for protection, just whatnot. And now when you put an arm bar up, it's automatic foul. It's just like it's a hard habit to break because you've been doing it for 15 years. I mean, just like anything. And I guess I feel like the officials are still learning a little bit too because there's been some suspect calls, but what can you do?
Just wait till tonight.
Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And actually, if the Shattern officials are watching tonight, they're the best official we'll have all year, so I'm looking forward to the game down there, and any chance we can get a call or two, that'd be great. But next guy, and like I said with Lance, obviously we're gonna miss him in the program. He's gonna miss us too, I'm sure. But it's great to have him here and you know be a part of it for the 5 years. And you know we talk about the new guys coming up, and we need our leaders. And that's kind of how it's been. You know, I've been here for 12 years now, and that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is the guys that have been in our program teach the young guys, so to speak, as far as, you know, the expectations, you know, why is Coach yelling at me, here's the deal, you know, whatever it is, from counseling to just understanding how to play the game the way we like to play it. So, you know, Lance has obviously done a great job of that the last couple of years and sitting on the sidelines. Probably learned a lot of that, too, with redshirting. Next guy up is Trevor Zocker, and like Lance said, and if you guys were there on Saturday night or read the paper, you know, he did. He made one of the best plays I've seen in a long time, when we needed it especially. But then, you know, he's a guy that's kind of struggled from the field right now. But, you know, the sky's the limit for him, and we're excited to have him in the program. Very athletic guy. Nothing like Lance, you know, shoots the ball probably not as good as Lance, but he is. Like Lance said, he's definitely got, you know, a huge upside, a lot of talent and that kind of thing, but being a freshman, as we all know, and the coaches that always come up here and say, well, geez, we're freshmen, we're trying to learn this, that's just the way it is. And as much as we don't want to believe that as athletes and competitors, is there's just a big learning curve. And what's nice with Trevor, what's nice with Aaron, two guys that are playing a lot of minutes for us right now, they're figuring it out a little bit quicker than a lot of freshmen do, and some of that just because they're getting some playing time a little bit more than a lot do too. So, you know, Trevor will get up here and talk a little bit more, but one of the things, you know, bring him into the huddle after blocks a shot and, you know, put him to the free throw line on a technical. And I don't know how many people, what in the world are you doing putting a freshman up on the free throw line? I think he was 0 for 5 at the time. But that's the confidence that the coach is having him, and you know, obviously the players having him and those kind of things. And sure enough, he's 8 for 8 from the free throw line, I think, or 10 for 10 even. So that's something where we definitely don't do that very often with freshmen. But we're excited to have him in our program, and he'll talk a little bit about being here. So Trevor, go ahead.
Like Coach said, I'm Trevor Zocker. I'm from Beulah, North Dakota. Guess I'm just still trying to learn and figure everything out. Like Lance said, what he described in a nice way is kind of a loose cannon sometimes. Don't make some bad decisions, make some good ones. For instance, the other night, I had a 2-on-2, and I took the bounce pass and step back and miss a 3, and probably should have went to the rim. You don't really do that. Don't know why I did it, but did. So I'm just still trying to learn everything, the offense, terminology still sometimes I get confused a little bit, but I'm learning quick. The last week or so I learned a lot, especially after playing the first 3 games, counting the exhibition game. It's been fun so far. I like all the guys on the team. Hoping for the best this season. Got some really big games this weekend. So, any questions?
What's the biggest suggestion from high school college?
Probably the size down low. Where I played, I was always one of the taller, biggest guys, so I could go in the lane and finish over people. But now people are 6'8", and I'm not that big anymore. I'm not the biggest guy down low, so.
What's that shoot?
Yeah, I'll break it.
How's the adjustment academically from high school to college?
That's going good so far. Not failing, so.
What's your major?
I'm IS, which is interdisciplinary sciences, kind of a fancy name for pre-med. From here, I want to do the pre-med and then get into a physical therapy program at a different school.
Trevor, I thought you looked pretty poised, and I mentioned on the air that I thought you looked relaxed and poised. Were you deceiving us, or do you feel comfortable out of the floor? And you went up and shot those technical free throws and made both of them. You just seemed to be. Basketball's kind of just natural for you.
I guess, just, you want to psych yourself out. I'm not one of those guys like before a game that just gets all psycho, listens to hard rock, heavy metal music. I just kind of chill and relax and joke around with usually Aaron, because I know what he's like. I don't necessarily want to get on the upperclassmen's nerves being the young little freshman. So just trying to play and have fun and do the right thing, but yet stay focused.
How big do you feel about it?
Getting close to 4,000. So.
And we'll have a few more guys up here try to bring some older ones. We got 20 of them, so hopefully we can get them all through here and learn a little bit about them. But like I said, and Tom will probably reiterate a little bit of it too, but we go down to Shattern tonight, and then we're back at home on Friday and Saturday. So looking forward to that, and hopefully we can. You know, we keep talking about the streak, and we don't want to put pressure on us and that kind of stuff. And I don't think we will. I think we're just going to go out and play hard and do what we're capable of doing and keep getting better. So looking forward to this week, and then we have 3 over Thanksgiving. We play Tuesday up in Black Hills, which will obviously be a big one, and then we play Friday, Saturday, Sunday at home again. So 7 games in 13 days, but I know our guys are ready for it. So thanks again for coming out.
Let's bring up Tiffany McCampbell to kind of give us an update on what's going on in the athletic department, and also a wrap up maybe of the volleyball season. Tiffany, thank you.
I always think these are so interesting to listen to, just to see the differences in coaching styles, communication styles, especially these 2 athletes where you've got one that's very senior-laden player and then a freshman who, it just reminds me of my program a lot of how, confidence, lack of confidence, or just trying to find your way. And so I just really enjoy these Tuesday sessions just to listen to our coaching staff talk about what's going on with our programs that way. Last week we played our last match against Black Hills State. I was very happy going into the intermission where we were up 2-0. I didn't think particularly we were playing very well, but I thought we did enough to be able to be up on them. And then we were up 23-21 going into the 3rd set, and I could see our team absolutely think they had the game won, and then we didn't win set 3. I honestly knew there was no way we were going to beat this team in 5. I knew that they would push us to 5. You could just start to see a little bit of self-doubt creep in. You could see we got a little bit lack of discipline a little bit, and you could just see the eyes kind of come out. And to be fair, we've not been up 2-0 on a team this year at all, and so I was very uncomfortable territory for them. Was I sad for our seniors, Justine and Janelle? Absolutely, but I think our kids quantified it very well afterwards. We talk in the locker room. We always let our kids go around and kind of talk about, thanking our seniors, and I thought our freshman group did a great job as far as thanking them for leadership and things that they provided for this program for the past 4 years, and really set that foundation that way. Do I think we are close to being a program that can continue to be better? Absolutely, but we're a team that we graduate 2 seniors, and now it's time for us to really buckle down in this off season and decide that we want to be a very good Division II program, and we've just got to make that decision and that commitment. And we've talked about those things. We've got a great group. I've really enjoyed this group this year. We've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations, but if you look back to our first game back September 6th through our last game November 12th, I firmly believe this team got 100 times better, played with a lot more passion, played with a lot more energy. I think our freshmen got a lot better, and I think our 3 seniors provided a definite level of leadership that needs to happen. In Division II volleyball is tough, and we're not going to make excuses for that by any means, but we've got to do a lot of things different next year, just as far as being able to compete every single night. Now, on the flip side, we did play 4 and 5 sets a lot this year. Do you remember how many you said, Brad? I don't remember offhand. Maybe I know my husband at one point said it was either 14 or 16 games we played 5 sets this year, which is a really big number. So what that tells me is we either fight really, really well, or we fight, and then we kind of taper off at the end. So I think there's definitely some highlights from this season that we can take, but we've learned a lot of lessons as far as being able to finish games, being a little bit tougher, I think, and as females in the athletic world, kind of like what Ryan was saying, when it gets to become a pressure situation, you got to be really tough, and you got to be very poised, and you got to be able to compete, and that's what Division II volleyball is, and I think that's the difference between NAIA. NAIA, you could serve teams off the court, you can attack teams off the court. In Division II volleyball, you cannot do that because the caliber of competition is just that much better, and we've got to do that. And we've got a great roster set in place. We signed one national letter of intent last week. We signed a middle right side 5'11". Her name is Kayla Henricks. She's from Liberty, Missouri, so she's going to be a player that's going to come in and contribute right away for us and kind of filling a spot on the team for us. It's really, really crucial, and just moving forward that way. So, does anybody have any questions for me? Good, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming out. You can flip the radio on about 5:15 this afternoon on the Hills 97.5, and unless I drive off the road somewhere along the way, we'll be on the air. So looking forward to those 2 games tonight. Good luck to Jason and to Ryan and their teams tonight, and don't forget this weekend's activity. We've got a lot going on. So thank you very much, and thanks to Trevor and to Lance for joining us today too. Thank you.
Thanks, man.